This afternoon, I wanted to talk about the sufficiency of the grace of God. And our text is going to be 2 Corinthians 12:9. The Apostle Paul has prayed to the Lord on several occasions concerning a thorn in his flesh that was given unto him, and our text is the answer which he received from the Lord concerning it. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Although there is a sense in which the Lord did not answer Paul's prayer in the way in which he had presented it, it was answered. His motive for asking for the removal of this thorn was not merely for his own comfort or convenience, but that he would not be hindered from the work which the Lord had given him to do. Paul was just not able until the Lord answered him to see the work that the Lord was doing in the thorn. The Lord did not remove this thorn in the flesh as Paul had asked, but told him that he was with him and that he would give him grace to endure this. He is revealing to him that his grace is enough to endure the thorn. It would not be removed, but it would not be a hindrance to his work either. The word sufficient is defined as enough or adequate. The Lord is telling Paul, My grace is fully able to strengthen you, to enable you to endure this affliction. It can compensate for any type of disadvantage that this thorn may seem to cause you. Amen. Even more than this, Paul was able to see in this circumstance that he was intentionally and purposely given this thorn from the Lord. This thorn was a gift from the Lord. The carnal mind may reason, why would God do this to someone such as Paul, who was such a faithful servant? And some people that get these afflictions ask, why me? But this is a very foolish form of reasoning. We should not expect to only receive things from God that make convenience in our temporary circumstance. Amen. And this is because his purpose does not revolve around our comfort and convenience. It revolves around him and his glory. Yes. That being said, this is true that his purpose is ultimately for our good, but in the present it may seem at times that we are put at a disadvantage. We may be asked to endure things which, seen only by one with an earthly viewpoint, are simply unbearable. Knowing, however, that God is making us endure them for a purpose of glorifying himself, we can be confident that if we are given thorns, so to speak, God will empower us to overcome them and not be overcome by them. So then, God is glorified in giving us this grace, but we learn something in the process as well. In Paul's case, the thorn was given to him as a gift for the purpose of humbling him, that he might not become proud because the revelation that was given to him was of such a high order. In this, he learned humility and learned to lean more fully upon God and to rely upon him for strength. In our lives, we are put through trials, whether it be a thorn in the flesh or some other matter. We are shown how his grace is able to make us able to face anything that comes against us. These are times when we are being called to more fully lean on, not on our own understanding, to not at any point try to figure out things on our own, but to recognize that without him, we cannot do anything. In the world, it is a despised thing to admit that you are weak, but in the kingdom, admitting your weakness and inability qualifies you to receive grace for it. Although there is a sense in which you have not earned the grace that God has given you, in that you are unworthy of it, there is a sense in which you must be qualified to receive it. The times in which we are most weak in the flesh can in fact be the times in which we are strongest in the spirit. The more weak we are, the more we are in need of strength. The more strength we receive from God, the more blessed we are by realizing the work he is doing in us. This is the reason why Paul was able to say that he would glory in his infirmities. He realized that in him being weak and allowing Christ's power to rest upon him, he was actually more strong than he would have been if he had his own strength returned unto him. He also recognized that the Lord sustaining him through this weakness was actually not a hindrance to his work, in the sense that God was glorified by making himself known through him. In this, your weakness, as the apostle says in our text, God's strength is made perfect. That is not to say that his strength is imperfect or somehow lacking, not that it is otherwise ineffective or deficient, But our understanding of how much his strength can accomplish is not fruitful unless there is a demonstration of it. When we are strengthened by the strength of God in our weakness, we are a living testimony to the effectiveness of his grace. We are a wonder to principalities and powers in heavenly places. Holy angels look down upon creation and see the mighty power of God working in people, causing those who can do nothing to do anything that is required of them. So then, brethren, as we continue our services this morning, let us realize that rather than being in heaviness because of our infirmities, we can rejoice, knowing that in our weakness the Lord is able to show forth his strength in us. Amen. Thank you.